Well, let's see
She's
if
got
she can predict the future on this one, because this is where Donald Trump, he's talking about Chris Christie. He's talking about his vice presidential. He was on Fox News last night, lying, of course, just puking up lie after lie after lie and saying all kinds of word salad. I want to show you part of it. But this part specifically talks
Did you
about the
say
vice
pooping
president.
up or puking up?
Puking up.
Oh,
I mean,
because
he
pooped,
probably was
he
pooping
poops.
too. Yeah.
And I just want to be clear that happens.
Yeah, well, it does. It does a lot. It looks like he's holding a full diaper here. But here's the point I want to make is that a lot of people talk about Nikki Haley and that she might be trying to be vice president. But Cliff, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to ask you the question here soon, and we're going to talk about it. I think that Donald Trump is not going to pick a vice presidential running mate. I don't think he's going to pick a vice presidential running mate. And a lot of people are like, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
You also can't try to overthrow the government.
Right.
You also can't steal seats.
Exactly.
The long list
you can't do any of this stuff. Right. But the thing is the reason why I say it and the reason why I want to talk about it, because I think it's very important in our narrative going forward, is that why would a dictator have a vice dictator? That doesn't make any sense to me. A dictator, a theocratic monarchy doesn't have a vice dictator. They have their son. They have their family. That's how it works in a theocratic monarchy. That's how a king works. That's how a dictator works. Is they get to pass it on to their dictatorial family, their ancestor.
Right. Your kids are the next in line.
Right. Exactly. But let's listen here.
Brilliant business that did so well.
Well, let's listen to Grandpa Poopy Pants, Grandpa Hitler here, Grandpa Swatter, Grandpa Bomb Threat here. These nicknames are just easy with this guy. Grandpa, and you just, right. Okay, so let's listen to Grandpa Bomb Threat here, and let's listen to what he says about his vice president when he's questioned about it. Let's listen.
Let me just ask you a follow-up on that about who would be in your cabinet, in your administration. Mm-hmm. If you are the nominee, which I know you expect to be, who would be in the running for vice president?
Well, I can't tell you that really. I mean, I know who it's going to be.
Give us a hint.
Of course,
we'll do another show sometime.
Well, what about any of the people who you've run against? Would you?
All right, I'm gonna stop it there, and we're gonna play this a couple of times because the reason why is I want to have this.
You think they steam cleaned that stool after he got off of it?
Oh, they threw it away. They burnt that son of a bitch. they did not. They bought that stool knowing he was gonna sit on it and they would have to destroy it.
You can burn it in a fire afterwards.
Right.
Like
no. You can't burn it in a fire. You can't let the fumes out in the open. You got to put it in like a crematory burn. Right.
You can't.
No.
The whole thing will end up smelling like Staten Island.
The EPA would have to come in and do a mass cleanup. It would be horrible. It would be horrible. Right. Yeah. It would be horrible. It's like toxic waste dump, But here's the point I want to try to make is that in his answer, he obviously, like Trump doesn't have an answer. He wants to have an answer, but he doesn't want to have an answer. He wants to get a new interview.
He's so dementia-addled. Seriously, I don't think if he wants to even think of names, they don't come to him. You know what I mean?
He definitely knows he wants to give a hit, but he's not going to give him a hit. Maybe we'll do another show. But here's the point that I want to make here is in this non-answer, he's actually answering. He's actually telling us that he's not going to pick a vice president. And I know a lot of people are going to really they're gonna be like, you're ridiculous, Tony. This is a ridiculous notion that he wouldn't pick or that he would even consider not picking someone. Because even if he does, he's gonna say out loud, I don't need a vice president. My last one didn't do what I wanted. He threw the election to Joe Biden. And the last one, I had to send my minions to the Capitol to hang him. And that didn't even work. So why do I want a vice president? He's going to say, Cliff, he's going to say it. He's going to say, why do I want a vice president? When people start asking this, he's going to ask that.
So, the people, again, got this wrong about him. And I think the media did on purpose because they choose to be stupid as a profession. But again and again and again, which is people that are pathological narcissists and are sociopaths. He's some combination of a lot of really bad shit. Like get out your DSM, whatever edition they're on now, and half the things you find in there for disorders he has. And people who are like that, they don't see boundaries. That's why they're so dangerous. Like the boundaries the rest of us respect. So when people are like, well, he wouldn't try to overthrow the election. Well, yes, he will. He wouldn't steal top secrets. He would do that. He wouldn't leave NATO. You can bet your ass he would have left NATO if he could have found a way to get the Joint Chiefs and other people to sign on. I mean, there's nothing he wouldn't do. that because as long as it benefits him, if it gratifies him in the moment, he will do it. What the hell was that?
Go ahead with it again. Listen, we have a great sound effects in the laboratory here that just pop
I just
up
didn't
every
hear
now
what
and
it was. I enjoyed
yeah.
it. So I don't think, but I will throw out one exception.
Yeah.
To the I actually agree with you because I don't think he's going to want anybody else around or whatever. But one exception to the Tony Michaels rule, and I don't think this will happen because they won't agree to do it. Which is if he could get an actual real billionaire, he would do that because he's so cheap that he wants to be able to put away as much of the money as he can that he brings in into his ventures. I think the one way he might do it is if some billionaire willing to join him and like, a real billionaire and spend like, 10 billion on the campaign or something. That to me, like a bribe, essentially. That to me is the only way I think he would have a vice president. Otherwise, I think he's not going to pick any conventional human as a vice president because he doesn't need a vice president. He's him.
I think he'll stand on stage at the convention when he's voted in on the first ballot unanimously. And he stands there and he says, I told you I was the only one that could fix it. And because I'm the only one that fixes it, I don't need a vice president.
Why do I need a vice president?
That's right.